So today, our smarter agent training is, hey, I'm under contract. Now what? I think that buyers and sellers go through this, and so do agents. I mean, it's just a real statement. But it's fun when one of my own agents says, "Hey, can we talk about this?" So we are. So here we go. So you have your license. You're in contract. Don't forget your agency law. This is stuff that all of a sudden people say, "Hey, I'm licensed. I don't need to remember that stuff anymore." It's kind of like going to school and saying, "Yeah, I did that stupid math. I'll never use that." Okay, but the law in real estate applies on a daily basis. So we need to just make sure in this area that we're very clear. So agency law. I mean, do you guys remember what the arrangement is in Florida for a single agent? You owe the client fiduciary duty, loyalty, confidentiality, and obedience. It doesn't have obedience on here. Obedience, because you are saying that you're my principal. You're the only one I'm working for. And that's it. I'm not looking out for anybody's interest but yours. The minute you talk to another agent about anything about that buyer or seller that's outside of that realm, you're breaking the law. Instead, there are other options. So when we have buyers and sellers of property, we have three different styles that we can work under, right? We can have a no brokerage relationship. I have no idea why in the MLS we see people paying 3% to a broker, a transaction broker, 3% to a single agent, and 0 or 1% or $1 or whatever to a no brokerage relationship. This is a licensed realtor. It just means they are not with a brokerage. They still have their license. They still have done everything to maintain that license. They just don't have a brokerage relationship. With that in mind, they're bringing you a buyer. Why wouldn't we pay them? We're allowed, it's legal. I don't understand it. So this is when people do that, they're kind of ruling out some of these people, or they've got to call and explain who they are, what they are, and it's like, we're smarter than that. This just is not what we do. We want to make sure and pay everybody. We want to have just clear cooperation with everybody across the board. Florida, the law assumes that the licensee will automatically behave as a transaction broker. That's what people need to understand, that this is the standard, and it's our responsibility to share that with them. So if they're going to act as a single agent, client needs to know what that entails and sign that they agree. There are those that do this. I think it's foolish, but because it's the biggest area for getting into lawsuits. But there are agents that go, "Oh no, that's what I do," because by being a single agent, I'm doing the best that could ever be done for this buyer or seller. And I'm like, not necessarily, because you're saying that now I can't work with this buyer that walked into an open house and help them with this transaction to make it happen for both of you guys. And I'm still going to deal with you honestly, fairly, and I'm going to watch over the finances and everything, and I'll make sure things are in good shape. So is it really doing the best for them? Some people think yes. So licensee in Florida is prohibited from having a brokerage relationship with one or both parties in the transaction. This is an interesting deal. Even though details about the status must be disclosed to the principal, and licensee with this relationship must also do what? Account for funds, deal fairly, honestly, disclose all known facts about property's value, all of these things. Okay? So it's just a no brokerage relationship. How about transaction broker? That's what we all operate as. Anybody asks, that's what our firm operates as. Okay. The only way I would see going into a single agent status that would make sense to me is if it's a high-end sale, a very high-end sale. Where
So
they,
we have to be a transaction broker if somebody walks in.
yeah, but I'd still rather be a transaction broker. Somebody'd have to be asking me to be the opposite.
Yeah.
And trying to tell me what to do, and I'd be having to explain the way this works. And then you have to say, hey, there's 3 different ways that I could work. So you can let them know. But if you're a single agent and you end up with the buyer as well, and you're the listing agent. What do you have to do with your seller?
Yeah.
Transition to transaction brokerage, that's right. So these are just things I wanted to remind you guys of. Because I'm in contract now, you're still now dealing fairly and honestly with everybody, exercising care through the process. That's what a transaction broker does. They watch over everything still. It's not like they're dishonest in any way. We're straightforward, but we are working for the transaction as well as the folks that are involved, okay? Single agent, this is the one we just talked about. I just think that in my experience and my reading, it's the relationship that creates the most lawsuits. Okay, so I would not suggest this one.